All right, you legends. We're wearing a team kit today. I'm trying to get it to where the first weekend in every month we wear our team kit. This one was made by Pedal Mafia. So I took a lighter week this week. After every 4 weeks, the fourth week I really load up the volume, and then the fifth week I back off, let my body absorb the training so I don't get stale. But we'll see how it goes, and I will do my best to record and get some good clips for you.
On this ride, I left Northampton, rode into the Woodlands, picked up the group at the Alden Village Center. We headed out, Research Forest Boulevard. I turned on the camera on Honea Egypt Road. It's a big group. We went through the Grand Lake Estates. The pace was pretty high into Keenan, Spring Branch Road, Gary. We stopped at a store in Gary, and then we continued. After the group had split, I recorded after we left Dobbins on 1486 Johnson Road. Then we took 1097 back into Montgomery. We had a lot of mechanicals on this ride, so it delayed us quite a bit. So we changed the route and headed back Fish Creek, found the rest of the route into the Woodlands. The pace was high. I recorded when we were getting back into the woodland. You will see just how high the pace was. It's a very good workout. After I left the group, I did a little extra on the way back home. I think you would love the clips that we put together for you. We're on the open road. We're leaving the neighborhoods. We're on Huffsmith Conroy Road, going towards Fish Creek Boulevard. This is a huge group this weekend. We found out that Mo's group did not have a scheduled ride, so we inherited a bunch of the riders that do his ride. So most of these guys I don't ride with regularly. I'm gonna go around them and roll up to Paul. Not sure why they're sitting so far back off the group. But you will see the pace stays high. I mean, we're warming up at 21:22. And most of the ride will be near 24 to 26 miles an hour. Even when we hit that 9% climb on Spring Branch Road, we probably climbed it between 18 to 22 miles an hour. We just stood up. I just stood up in whatever gear I was in, and we just powered it. There's a deer on the left I'm telling Paul about. It was standing like it was about to jump onto the road. But like I said in the introduction, the first weekend of every month, we're going to start wearing our Velo Harmony kit. And then Paul is wearing the classic kit today that was made by Santini. I'm wearing the one made by Pedal Mafia. We also have a kit made by Suki. Suki is up and coming fabric manufacturer, cycling manufacturer, and they make really nice stuff at a reasonable price. High quality, good fit. I really like their stuff, so I always have their links in my videos. If you use the link, you will get an additional 15% off their already reasonable prices. Or if you don't use the link, just type Velo Harmony as the coupon code. Tell your friends about it. That's where you can get high quality cycling stuff for a very reasonable price point. So I'm wearing this stuff a lot lately because they're just made well, especially now that it's hot. They make a lot of nice lightweight jerseys. And then they made us a team kit in the lightweight fabric, so I wear that a lot. We're approaching the FM 2978, aka Honia, Egypt, in this section. And then after the light, about probably 800 meters down, it becomes Sendera Ranch Road. Then we're gonna go left where it becomes Honia, Egypt Community Road. One of my favorite roads in the area. I didn't count how many people are in this group, but it's huge, and you'll get a feel for it, because at some point I'm gonna drift back and pick up the entire group. There's a bunch of people behind me. This is Honia, Egypt Community Road. This section of this road continues left, and that part that's going straight is called Sendera Ranch Road. This is the road from Egypt to Honia, basically. We're in Egypt heading towards Honia. This part of the area is known as Egypt, this small area. So the pace picks up as soon as we turn, and then there is a gap between us and the group because we waited at the corner for those cars that were going through the right-of-way. So we're gonna have to pick up the pace to ride back up to the group. Then we're pretty much close to getting together. Yeah, the group is together. I'm not sure why that guy is hanging out there by the yellow line. I don't care for cyclists that do that. There is no reason for it. So literally on that line, there are 3 abreast. You can get stopped for that. You should not ride more than 2 abreast. These are grown men. I don't bother. You do something that is illegal and you get stopped, you deal with it. They've been riding long enough. I don't know why they do that foolishness all the time. Get in the line. Everybody else in the line, get in the line. We're riding 2 abreast at this point. It's going to organically go single file when the pace really heats up. Basically riding on this piece of pavement that's not scraped up. It continues. Takes a bit of dexterity because it gets narrower after we pass this curve. But I ride here often enough to where I know this road. And I just stay on the line until the straight pavement ends. And roll back and avoid those reflectors. I'm pretty much sitting at the back right now. Hopefully we'll get a chance to show you the whole group. I'm sure we have multiple shots of that. So when the pace is fast, find a wheel, sit in, relax. If you can handle the pace, save your energy, because there will come a time when the road will go up and you'll have to work, and the drive won't be that much of a benefit. The plan of this ride was almost 80 miles, and a lot of people that show up and act like they're doing 20 miles say that all the time. You need to do your ride and you plan to do. Don't let other people change your plans unless you plan on making the change yourself. So Paulie Longa is wearing our classic Velo Harmony kit made by Santini. Abby is wearing the one from Pedal Mafia, our most recent one. And Laura has the Pedal Mafia, and I'm wearing the Pedal Mafia kit. We just came off the downhill, so the effort now is going to pick up. This part of the road starts to become a false flat. I think somebody has this part marked as a segment or something after that beep was on my head with it. I don't pay attention to that. I don't spend a whole lot of time on strava, so I don't do this segments and all that. I do see them because we ride the same courses and they'll tell you, oh, you're fifth on the leaderboard or whatever. But I don't go after this. I just ride my bike. Some people use it as motivation to do intervals. That's fine, whatever works. So this is one of the guys I ride with both. That's the Shama Cyclist kid. I think his name is Christian. There's a couple of them, quite a few of them anyway. They're not all wearing the kit. They ride with more of them, but they're not all part of this Shama racing team. I think a few of their riders that put the group together was out of town. That's Garrett over there. Were out of town, so they didn't post a ride. So we decided to join Velo Harmony. Pace is very high. So when you're at the back, moderate terrain, sit in, save your energy. You're gonna need it later. No point wasting energy while you're sitting in, while you're in the back. See the length of the paceline, and I'm about a third of the way up. Abby's moving up. Abby doesn't like riding on the scraped areas, so no cars coming, so he went in the middle, which is still smooth, and moved up in the line. We're doing about 25 miles an hour, thereabouts. I'm probably riding at 53.16 or something like that. I just stay in the middle of my gears. I don't do too much shifting in moderate terrain. 1 or 2 gears and just ride it. Go down one, go up one, sit, you know. So between the 17 and the 15, at this pace, that's where I play. goes up. If you don't want to shift, you can stand and roll your gears. A short little bump. I'm sitting right at zone 2. Yeah, my ceiling on zone 2. As far as heart rate. We got here in a hurry. In fact, when somebody pointed left, I was like, whoa. In my mind, I was like, man, we're here already? And we started at 7, and as soon as we rolled out of the parking lot, someone had a flat. I believe this guy on the right, the Shama, I think he had a flat. Took care of that. Didn't take long, a few minutes. Maybe a minute or two. It was pretty quick, actually, so maybe he has tubeless and he just needed to put some air in it after he sealed. And we ended up Abby ends up having a flat, and then Kenny ends up having a flat. You'll see all of that. So it just continued, and so Doug stayed with Abby. So what ended up happening, we found out later, was that there's a car coming, he's going to let us go. He flashed his lights. Thank him. But we found out that Abby didn't have enough sealant in his tire. His sealant had dried up, so it really didn't get a chance to seal, even though they put plugs in there. With our weather, you have to figure out how much you need and how often. So we ended up putting a tube in there later, off camera. So even on a road like this, where it's a private, residential area, it's best to do no more than 2 abreast. That's pretty much what we're doing here. We're moving up in the line. It ends up being 1 abreast soon, because once the pace gets really high, nobody wants to sit out in the wind unnecessarily. So right now we're welcoming a single pace line. That's what's happening. The pace has picked up, doing about 24, 25 miles an hour. And this area is lumpy. Another reason why I like coming through here. So there's going to be some 3 to 5% bumps. And we don't slow down for those, we're just riding. We don't get in the small chain for that. Just ride. 53.19, 53.17, whatever. So the ebb and flow of the pace line. They've picked it up a bit. I see back here it appears that we got 2 lines, but I think people are just drifting to avoid braking. I noticed Michael's spinning, and he's going backwards. But he's not. He needs to shift up. But $250, 300 watts is what we're doing, something like that. So when you're sitting at the back like I am, you have to be conservative, because the other thing is it's not extremely easy back here because you're reacting to the ebb and flow, so that yo-yo effect. So you need to make sure you're in shelter and use your energy wisely to stay with the bunch. When the roads start to go up, everybody's working. I went around that guy. He's playing around with his phone or whatever it is. I'm like, this is not the time. I don't understand why people do that kind of stuff. You're riding with a bunch of riders. I'm not trying to look at your phone. He reached in his pocket and took out his phone. Maybe he's gonna take a picture. I don't know. I don't want to be near that. So I went around. It's time to ride. That's how crashes happen. A little bit of inattention. Can't do that stuff, back off the wheel. Going downhill, so this is not a hard effort at this point. The road's going to kick up in a little bit. This is the nice thing about being in a bunch in this situation. You're not working that hard right now, but you got to be ready. The road's going to start going up. It's going to have percent. I'm pretty much sitting between these two guys. I think Mike Barrera is behind me on his TT bars. So I've got a nice little pocket here. Nobody else is there. Speed bump, I think. Kicks up 3%, 4%, or 4.5 is what I saw average. It's going to level off, it's going to turn and kick back up. So you've got to get used to riding at these efforts repeatedly if they're coming in succession. That gets your body ready to be able to tolerate the efforts. So it goes up again, 3.9, 4.0 I saw. So at 3%, we're doing about 20, 21. It's turning, it's gonna kick up a little bit, it'll level off, then dip down, then kick back up, then turn. So there's a lot of effort that you gotta be ready to put out. I've already moved up in the bunch without trying because as the effort gets harder, a lot of people are slow to react. You don't want them messing up your rhythm. So the ebb and flow is that you just continue to go with what you're doing. Slight downhill, we're gonna turn. When you turn it like this, if somebody's on your left, give them the outside line. And then you make sure you watch for anybody that might be coming on the inside. When you're in a bunch, you gotta be looking, you gotta be paying attention. That's why all the more reason when that guy took out his camera, I mean, he was at the back pretty much. But yeah, you need your wits about you when you're riding in the company of other cyclists. Not the time to mess around. So a lot of experienced riders, when they're going to do something that will distract them, they pull out of the line. They're by themselves. They don't have to worry about anybody else. Whether they're going to blow their nose, take something out of their pocket that will require distraction or whatever. They don't sit behind the wheel and start doing stuff. some riders around here will sit behind the wheel and want to do hands-free riding. Like, what are you trying to prove? You gotta put your hand on the bars. When something happens, you're going down. So the road starts to kick up, and it stays for a bit. 300 watts, 400. I didn't realize we're going this hard. 4 something. But the effort's on. Right about here, it starts to level off. Probably about a 20 or 30 second effort, let's say. I'm estimating. About a kilometer or so, we're going to come to the back gate, and the gate is closed. There's no cars coming in right away, and we don't have the code, so we'll wait a little bit, not too long. And the car comes and triggers it for us. I recorded some of what transpired, and then there's a time lapse on something. So we descend here, and then we'll kick up at the base and go turn left and go up a little bump. I didn't realize we went that hard. I saw 700 watts. I don't know what gear I'm in. I just stood up. I'm standing. So the gate is closed, so we're going to wait. Some riders will ride back up the hill just to keep moving. Doug's one of them. I just stop on the left and wait for a car. We don't have the code that we used to have. Not a working one anyway.
No, you weren't. I thought it was you. Somebody on Thursday was like, your tires are way too low. I wasn't there quickly. So sorry.
Switching it out, Switching it out.
Tuesday I was there.
Elder, what's the gate code here?
It's changed. It's,
I don't have a working code.
it's encrypted now.
It's encrypted. Can you ship?
So we got through the gate, and now we're headed on the Hills Parkway. This is the road after the gate that would take us down to Keenan. You can see the watts are up. The pace is high. You want to go fast, you got to do the work. I have to stay low here because Michael's very low. So I have to stay low to be efficient. It's a little bump as we leave the neighborhood. And one thing about these guys, the road goes up, they act like it's flat. It's like it's an excuse to push hard. So every time the road goes up, there's pushing going on. And then after the bump, then they tell them, we're going to be turning left in about 100 meters. This is Keenan. We are in Keenan, Texas. The road up ahead is called Keenan Cutoff Road. If you look at the inset of the map on the right, we're leaving the Hills Parkway, and that's Keenan Cutoff Road. Somebody went right here.
Well, we're like
Going
one
back,
big truck.
doing his own thing.
All back. Vente, amiguito. Tranquilo, tranquilo. Pobrecito.
He said, tranquilo, tranquilo. So even though, yeah, we have the right to use the road, but if there's space, like a shoulder or whatever, and it's clean and safe, we use it. It's a courtesy. So we're not impeding the normal flow of traffic. There's not a whole lot of volume on this road, but it just makes sense to use just what you need and let other people, share alike. I'm sitting on the Pirates wheel. Look at Laura's socks. She got eyes on the back of the side. I kept looking at that thing. It's like I was transfixed. It was like somebody was looking at me. Those are eyes. hear the camera rattling a little bit. I've got it kind of dubbed down. It's picking up the imperfections in the pavement when it's on that holder. I moved to Lars left because I want to keep my rhythm the same. I'm surprised we're not doing more than 18 miles an hour on this thing. I guess, I don't know who's pulling. This road has ups and downs. You get like a 2% climb, then a little bit, we'll hit a short 5% climb. So you've got to be ready to ride this road. It sneaks up on you. You got to respect the road. So all I do is I ride the same gear most of the time. If it starts to go up like here, I may go down one or I may stand. I'm sitting, you can see my shadow. I'm gonna just spin up. There's the Velo Harmony kit. There's another climb in the distance. So there's one after another. They're just here, back to back. Quick and fast, as Phil Liggett says. I'm not sure why that was necessary. The other lane's completely empty. If you're worried about us, use the next lane. Bunch of empty heads. So this road is kicking up here slightly. I'm not sure what it gets to. This is a little bump, then we're going to go downhill. We may have already crested the little bump. You hear how quiet it is. I have found the draft on this particular section of the road. That's the challenge. You always got to be looking for it. Look at the line. Got a lot of riders. One of our biggest turnouts.
You okay? Everything all right?
Abby's slowing down. That tells me something's wrong. He says he thinks he's having a flat. So I'm going to back off. I'm going to let Jorge know that there's a mechanical, because Abby's slowing down. His pressure's going down. He's got a tubeless setup, so so I tell him mechanical. He's going to ride up and let them know.
Yeah, Abby having a flat tire.
So we're going to stop at the gas station about 150 meters up the road on the left. So that's our second flat on this ride. It was just one of those days. You know, you go forever and you don't have any issues. And so I'm waiting for Abby. And Abby and Doug are back there. And Doug's staying with him. And they're going to tell me, I'm going to point to the driveway. And he's going to say, no, let's stop at the gas station. That's what Doug says. We'll stop at a gas station. I was going to turn in here.
Okay. All right.
So he's going to add some air, you know, hopefully thinking it's seals, but we found out much later in the ride that he didn't have enough sealant in there. But pretty much there was nothing in there. His sealant had dried up. There's a truck behind me I'm waiting on, but he's waiting, and I go ahead and I see, and then I thank him. I'm going to turn here. There's a service station. We usually stop there when we're coming, sometimes on the way back, depending on what route we do. That's a periodic stop for us. So right here we're going to deal with it. I actually didn't see Abby when I came in, so I thought he was on this side. So I'm going to turn around here and go back where they are, and then I see him. We're not here very long because he figured out maybe it'll seal, so I think they put some air in it. Quite a few of the guys had these little pumps that's this electronic. It's a small square rectangular box, probably a square box.
I haven't ever used it.
I think that's Kenny. Kenny had one of those pumps where it has a battery power, and you just push it on and press the button.
Come on this side.
In a little bit, we'll need to move.
I still get the same.
I use my regular pump. I'm still not trying to jump on the bandwagon, all these new things. They seem to work okay. You know, what happens if you run out of battery power? The canisters. I ran out of canisters many years ago. I gave those up. I just carry a pump.
Hey guys, this guy needs to get his truck out.
Oh, sorry.
So we're going to get out of the way. There's a patron that needs to back out of a parking space. We're hogging the people's parking lot. I'm going to tell Abby.
Pretty hard, buddy. Let's move over here. Let's move so this guy can move his truck. Abby.
He's got his reverse lights on. So tell Abby to get out of the way.
Yeah, you don't mind. I'm trying to see what I see.
You need a plug? You need a plug?
Feels hard.
You don't see it leaking.
I don't see any leaks.
All right, great. Okay, well, it's looking a little bit.
Did you close the valve?
So what happened is because he had no sealant in there, I think it tried to seal.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You don't need a lot
it will-
because you want it to. That's the problem. Yeah, it's hard.
So you don't want too much pressure in there until it seals. So he thinks it's okay, but it's not going to hold up. And so they're going to stop again. I'm not aware when they stop again. At this point, we've restarted from the store. This is just right down the road. I turn the camera on, and we turn onto Spring Branch Road. The store's about maybe a kilometer behind where we had stopped. I want people to come around. I don't want to be filming the road. So I slow down. You can see my shadow from somebody sitting on my wheel. And then Christian goes, and then a few other guys get the message. It's the same way when we start. When we're in the parking lot, we say, let's go. Everybody takes forever to get going. You know, they get engrossed in their conversations and whatever's going on. So I'm just kind of soft pedaling. People come around, but sit on the back. And on this ride, I just felt tired. I guess I got up tired. I just didn't sleep well. It's hard to sleep well on Friday nights. All this stuff going on. And sometimes I don't get the rest I need. So I was okay, but I just didn't feel great. So we got a good line here. I'm going to slip in as soon as there's a gap. This is a long line. It's a big group. You don't need a group this big to have a good ride. 3 to 5 riders is actually ideal. So don't feel that the numbers don't matter so much. The bigger the group, the dynamics are different. So you still have to be vigilant, you know, and just protect your wheel. It's a spring branch road. It's beautiful. These are the kind of roads I like to ride on. Just you and the world. Trees, got some dogs, cows, horses, goats, all kinds of stuff people keep in their yards out here. A lot of dogs out here on this road, they're pretty cool. I have a crazy one a long time ago that caused a crash. He don't live here anymore. I haven't encountered him. Doug's trying to close his bag, but he gets about maybe a third of the way. He left it open by mistake after we stopped. So he closed it a little bit. The zipper is too tight. You need 2 hands. You need to line it up and pull it across, but nothing fell out. He ends up stopping with Abby on this road somewhere. I don't know when it happened. So we get to the store and then we find out that Abby and Doug are behind, you know, dealing with yet another deflation. And so we waited for them. And then that's when on the way to take us, we went ahead and finally just put a tube in Abby's tire. So when we opened the tire, it was completely dry in there. I mean, he had the glue coagulates and it becomes like little stickers. You can peel them off. You know, it's just dried glue. That's all he had. There was nothing to seal anything. The tire actually looked pretty clean. It was no problem working on it. So yeah, so depending on where you live and what the weather's doing, you may have to more frequently add sealant in there. They've got different brands of sealant coming out. Supposedly someone is claiming that they seal punctures better and all of that. How true that is, I haven't tested it. I don't ride those tubeless things. It's too much of a hassle. I just prefer tubeless, simpler for me. I think they're better for low pressure applications. So this is the 9% climb we come to, and I just downshifted 1. I don't know what gear I was in, and it just stood up. I don't know if you can see my shadow, but I'm just standing and rolling the gear comfortably. It's on the left by the yellow line. That's my shadow there on the left. I'm just watching it. It's almost like, man, it's 18 miles an hour. It's leveling off. I guess we've been going so hard the whole way, it didn't seem as hard. So right after we finished this climb, Kenny, who's in front of Paul right there, his tires start spraying sealant. Some of it got on Paul's bike, and that's the thing I hate about that stuff. It gets on other people. It can ruin your kit. You know, I hate that. And so does Paul. Because I think he even said this tubeless stuff is BS or something like that. That's what Paul said. Yeah, Kenny has a flat that's spraying. We can literally see the sealant spray. And some of it got on Paul's bike. Well, you see him on the left. He felt it and he moved out of the way. So Kenny's stopping because so all the tubeless guys are having challenges this morning. But you know, it's not the technology, it's just stuff happens. And so Paul made a comment, and it just was like, these tubes, he said tubeless is BS, or something like that, bollocks, as the British said. Anyway, this is much later in the ride. This is on the way back home. This is after we had fixed Abby's tire and put a tube in there, and we stopped back at Taco. We shortened the route. We're on Fish Creek coming home, and there's probably, let's say, 5 of us. Well, actually, there's 6 of us. Jerry sits on the back. Jerry met us at Taco. Jerry is sitting on the back on his time trial bars, so he's not in the rotation. I'm sitting on the Pirate's wheel. The Pirate, when she takes over, she decides that she's late for something, so you got to sit in and sit close. The road goes up here. You can see the watts are up 4%. So anywhere from 350 to 450 is about what we're climbing these little 3 to 5% bumps. And if you're riding with a power meter and you're riding with your local group or whatever, that's what you can use that for. You can say, okay, with these guys, this is what we're doing. So that when you're riding by yourself, you can try to at least be in that range to prepare yourself for what your group normally does. I think that's a nice benefit of a power meter per se, because heart rate is not as consistent. It varies with other things like the weather, how you slept, so forth and so on. I'm in a large gear. I'm riding a 5316 or a 5315. I just leave it in there the whole time, and I'm just riding. Because at the end of this, there is a bump about 5 to 6%. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but we end up doing like 600 and something watts. Well, I end up doing 600 and something watts just staying on the Pirate's wheel, which is a big effort seated. So I stood up. I didn't downshift. I stayed in the same gear I was in and stood up to keep the effort. You can't really tell because it's cloudy. As you can see, the sun is behind these clouds. And we welcome this kind of day. We don't care for the sun beating down on us. I've been wearing my arm sleeves lately, and most of the time without gloves. They just feel right, you know. Although in the group it's best to have gloves on where possible. Most of my solo rides I don't put on gloves, but I do cover my arms because the sun is so intense this time of year until about late September. It literally causes blotches on my skin and it gets uncomfortable. I have to put aloe vera in the area and so forth, so I'm much rather just wear that. It's like SPF 50. I'm much rather wear the arm sleeves and not have to worry about sunblock. Paul is pulling, and then Paul pulls off, and Doug and Laura act like they're racing somebody. You'll see. This is where Paul pulls off. I guess we'll have to get home in a hurry. Yeah, we had so many mechanical delays, so we decided to shorten the route so we can get back at a decent time, you know. I like to get back around 11:30 noon in the Woodlands. I'm home by 12:45 at the latest, 1 o'clock. Got other things to do. So it worked out perfectly. So Doug takes over. This is a reasonable pace. So most of the time on this Fish Creek thoroughfare, this is the same road I mentioned as there, or part of it was Honey, Egypt earlier from the other direction where we started. most of this section, the drivers just leave you in the right lane. Even when you're riding solo, even if you're on the shoulder, they just use the left lane. Which is what I do when I drive my car. I don't want to pass anybody closely. There's no reason for that. I don't need the liability. I don't care whether they ride the motorcycle, moped, whatever. I steer clear. And that's really the way it should be. Respect people's space. This is a new light they added in the recent months around here on this road. The growth. There's a new strip center. I'm not sure what Doug was talking about. Something he saw. See how quiet it is? I'm finding the draft. I'm staying close because there is a bump. We're gonna go. The yellow light came in. We're already in the intersection. So I put my arm out and pointed it forward so the guys behind me knew that we're going through. This section is downhill to flat. So we're carrying more speed here, but the effort is not high. And the reason I'm saying that is because when a pirate takes over, we go up a climb and she acts like it's flat. And we carry some big watts. I mean, I have to carry big watts. You know, I'm 185 pounds, about 84, 85 kilos, something like that. So what ends up happening as you train and you get fitter, you can handle bigger watts more comfortably. That's the whole point of it. If you're out of shape, 150 watts can feel a lot harder than it should. So you've got to be consistent. You got to do the work. I'm staying on the shoulder width of the lane is clear, but I'm following the wheel exactly so that I can stay in the draft because the wind is coming from the front. The duck pulls off. Now I want you to watch the watts go up. Right in this area here is a combination of how Laura rides and the terrain that will change. So we're slightly downhill. We're still doing about the same effort. So now it's we're going up. And I can tell here by looking at the numbers, but when you're riding, you can feel it. So you're like, okay. So I get even closer. Because it's just a slight grade, and then it's going to level off and going to go downhill. Visually, you could tell it's leveling off here, right at 0.0. Now it's going down. So the speed will pick up. But we're doing under 100 watts. I'm basically feathering the pedals so that I don't have to brake. When you're at the front, you don't have the luxury of feathering the pedals. You're dealing with pushing that wind. So now the watts are over 200 briefly. Now, when we get through this light, the terrain starts changing. It becomes like more of a false flat. Right here is flat, the shoulder gets wider and it's going to kick up. If you watch the grade, it's going to come down to 0 and it's going to go the other way. So you have to use the draft. Now look at that, 250.6. All of a sudden it's kicking up 300 watts, 277. Because Laura's not slowing down. The road's going up and she's pushing more watts to keep the same speed or whatever it is, what the same effort she wants to do. But it's really not the same effort. She's going harder because the road is changing. So I'm sitting in the draft because I know at the end, in the distance there, we're going to climb that little bump right there. So this is basically flat here. It eases up a little bit before we get on that bump. But she doesn't back off. When we get on that bump, she just keeps dropping little at she's in the same gear. I don't think she downshifts. She's probably riding a 53, 15 or something like that. And look at my watts, 450. That's what 500, that's what I need. We're going up the climb, it's 4%. That's what I need to stay on her wheel. 500 watts. And she doesn't back off. So I have to push harder to get up there, right there. See, I came up on her. When she pointed, so I moved to the left. And then the climb's over, but the effort was high. You got to be able to do that. That's what it takes. It's not like when you're in a sprint. You got to do what you got to do. So I stay on the ride. I really don't feel like riding this hard. When she pulls off, I'm not going to stay up there long. I'm just going to pull off right after and go back in the back. Because the whole ride I just felt kind of meh. In a little bit, she will flick her arm. I will just go through the line, right there. I just go through the line. So, and that's what you do. If you don't want to pull, you just go through the line. I'm going to go through the line, and I'm going to just not work too hard. You see the kilometers will come down. As soon as I get to about 20 miles an hour, I'll pull off. I'm watching her in the mirror. She's trying to get back in the back. And I'm just going to pull off right about here. I just move to the left. See that? I don't want to hold the group up. They'll sit up the front, slowing down. I pull off, go back, and just sit in the back. Because this road continues as a slight grade. It's a false flat. And I sit in the back here. But that's how you have to survive. When you're not feeling great or whatever, and you want to stay with the group or your mates, you got to use your head. Don't let your ego get in the way. You're not feeling great, don't sit at the front. Just sit in. There's no point making people wait for you because you took a monster pull so they could say a great pull. That doesn't get you anything. So we're back in town. We're about maybe 1,000 meters from the light that we turned off the Honey Egypt early this morning. This piece of this road is called Sendera Ranch. You see where I'm sitting? It's quiet. There is absolutely no wind right here. I got Laura on my left and Doug is in front there, right there. You have to be crafty. We're on the open road. The FM 2978, Montgomery County, Magnolia, Texas. I like riding out here. For the most part, we have a high IQ driving population. Now, I'm talking about the north side. It's not for everywhere in the area. You know, I'm sure you guys know certain parts of the area you live. You like, I'm gonna have to turn on the radar or something. There's a little kid in that truck that those guys are talking to, Abby and the truck on the left.
Oh.
I thought it was somebody we knew. He said, no, it's a little kid.
I thought it was somebody we knew. A little kid.
So this is where the weekend warriors in the cars are gonna squeal. They're blowing at each other. They're revving their engine. Yeah, Laura just shakes her head. I told her, I said, yeah, Saturday all the morons are out. And they let them out of work. We're in Egypt, Texas, the outskirts of the woodlands. This is the way we usually roll back. We rarely film this section, so I decided to film it. But usually, if it's very busy, we go to the rest of the weekend. It's crazy. We go to the light in the distance. We turn right and do like a loop and go across the intersection when the light changes. So a lot of times, if it's busy, we can't get in the left turn lane. I think that's Doug over there. That's Greg, Doug's brother. That was the cyclist on the right. So what we do, we call it a loop, a little loop-de-loop. So we turn here and get in line to go across. And this road, if you take it that way, you go to 1488 west towards Windcrest.
Green up. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a short light because that's not a busy intersection. There's a chunk of pavement missing on the right there. We need to patch that up. Usually heavy equipment does that to our roads. So we usually come back this way because this is just very quiet, residential, you know, pretty much nothing going on most of the time. We're not competing for road space. So we're in town, but we're pretty much doing 2021. You know, we just keep riding. I didn't realize that I had the camera on all this time, but it's kind of nice for you guys to see how we end our rides. It doesn't get any slower when we get in town. You know, get through the intersection, keep going until we get to the parking lot. And usually people split off, depending on which direction they're turning. So I don't know what you did this weekend, but this is part of what we did on Saturday. Remember, you get your K's in and keep every doctor. I'm gonna let you all watch this so you can see how we end our rides when we get back in town usually. We're basically doing an out and back. We're going down the same roads, but usually there are more cars that we have to deal with because it's later in the morning. But this was just kind of give you an idea. We don't usually film all the way here, so this was a nice touch to add as an epilogue.
I'm proud of you, Abby. The other Abby would not have stopped. I don't know what I did, but I was surprised it did a busted.
Sounds like grit.
Hey guys, nice ride.
Grit?
Nice ride. Yeah.
That's right.
Still good despite.
What time was it?
Green up.
All right, Abby.
Green up. Jerry. Look at all these rocks. Is here, you can feel it. Sheesh.
Hopefully we got back just in time.
Yeah.
I am heading home. Good ride.
I'm going right with you guys. Good ride, guys. I'm
gonna find the shortest way home. Good ride, guys.
Right.